everyone, I'm Nick and welcome back to the breakdown. Today we've got something a little bit special. I'm going to be giving you guys a PC build that is based on Intel with an NVIDIA graphics card that you can build currently for $430. This is absolutely incredible and I was so excited when I figured out this build. I was working on it on a Friday night because that's what I do on a Friday night. I look at different computer builds. God, I really need a life, but nevertheless, I hope you guys like it as much as I do because I'm excited about it. But before we get into this video, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel and like the video for more awesome content exactly like this. A less than $435 PC build, guys, is incredible. So be sure to smack that like button again, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, all of that awesome stuff. It really does mean the world to me. And please post a comment down below telling me what you thought about the video. Anyway, let's get on into it. Starting off, let's go into our processor. Our processor is actually an Intel Pentium G4600. Yes, I went with a Pentium series processor, but that doesn't mean it's not any good. It's dual core, and it's clocked at 3.6 gigahertz. This is better than $114 i3. This Pentium processor also has hyper-threading and just as much L1 cache and L2 cache as a base model i3. And it comes in at 40 bucks cheaper at just $78 right now on Amazon. An equivalent i3 would cost you about $120-ish. There's no reason not to go with this over an i3, and it absolutely blows my flippin' mind that you can get Pentiums that are this freaking good now. Something else worth noting that this processor actually could run a game such as Fortnite. So even if you were to just get this processor and not get a graphics card, which is included in that $430 price, by the way, but if you were not get a graphics card, you could still play Fortnite and maybe some older titles. But with this graphics card, you'll be able to play everything new on the market at medium settings. Moving on from the processor though, we're recommending a motherboard that I've recommended in the past, and that is the ASRock B150M Pro 4S Micro ATX motherboard. The good thing about this though is it has 4 channels of DDR4 RAM, meaning you can put up to 64 gigabytes of RAM in this thing, and it's got 2 PCIe Express slots, so you can slide in a Wi-Fi card and a graphics card, or maybe even SLI, and this motherboard is just $67. So for 67 bucks, you get a 4-channel DDR4 motherboard that supports up to 64 gigabytes of RAM with 2 PCIe slots. Boom! Mind blown on that. I love this motherboard and that's why I keep recommending it. Next, we've got our RAM, and I'm actually going to recommend 2 kinds of RAM here. I'm going to recommend the cheaper option, which is 2 4GB sticks of Patriot Viper Elite RAM. If you were to add in, for example, 2 more 4GB sticks, you would then have 16 gigabytes, filling up all of your RAM slots. That's what I'm going with the build here, because that's really good RAM for a cheap price. We're looking at 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM for just 80 bucks here, guys, so we can't beat that price anywhere. However, I do have linked down below for about 120 bucks 2 sticks of 8 gigabyte Aegis G-Skill RAM, which is RAM I'll recommend quite a bit, but if you buy that, you'll be able to get 16 gigabytes in 2 sticks of RAM, which will then allow you to upgrade to 32 gigabytes of RAM by buying 2 more sticks. So there's a lot of expansion here. I would recommend the Patriot Viper X if you don't ever see yourself upgrading this system, and I would recommend the G-Skill Aegis RAM if you want to start off with 16 gigabytes. It's going to cost you a little more on the front end, but I think you'll notice that difference with 16 gigabytes of RAM. However, 8 gigabytes will be plenty to play most games currently. Most games can actually run on 4 gigabytes, guys, so not really a worry there, but it is worth mentioning in the video, and you'll find all that linked down below, as well as any of the other parts we mention in this system. In regards to the hard drive, we're going with a Western Digital Caviar Blue 500 gigabyte hard drive. Western Digital is, in my opinion, one of the most reputable internal hard drive brands for low-end consumer PCs, and for a 500 gigabyte hard drive, we're only looking at $31, something you cannot beat. If you want to upgrade this to a terabyte hard drive, you're looking at about 50 to 60 bucks depending on where you buy it from. So that's what you're looking at there for this build, and the price that we have, the $430 price, we are using the 500 gigabyte hard drive, coming at you for $31. Now next is what I think all of you have probably been waiting for. How are we getting an NVIDIA graphics card in this system for $430? Well, we're not not buying a new one. Just full disclosure there. Graphics card prices have been insane, as I mentioned, and you can check out the eye up there to see my video on how to get graphics cards cheaply in 2018. And that's what we're going to be doing here. But I'm going to provide a link to eBay down below. GTX 760 graphics cards, which I actually installed in another video that you can check out up there, are awesome cards. I've been testing one myself, and I've actually had one for a long time. It can play all of the modern games I've thrown at it at medium settings, and it can even play some at max settings. Like Fortnite, it kills at max settings without any problem. Something like Call of Duty World at War, it can kill at recommended settings. So that is a very solid, very stable graphics card that you can pick up for $100 or less on eBay. Now, I would recommend getting a 4GB version, right, instead of the 2GB version. The 2GB version is a lot more common, and you're gonna have to pay a little more for the 4GB version, but it will last you a lot longer. A 2GB 760 is going to be good, but it's not going to be as good as the 4GB version, obviously, especially in VRAM hungry games like GTA 5, which the 760 can run with no problem, even on the 2GB version. But the 4GB version allows you to play it at near ultra settings. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at as the graphics card goes. You can check out the link on eBay down below, and I think you'll be pretty surprised as to how affordable these graphics cards are. The price may go up a little bit from the time this video is made, but I'm budgeting $100 for the graphics card and that $430 price. If you go look on there, you can usually pick up a decent one for about 80 bucks, so I gave it a little bit of leeway to go up, as a few different YouTubers I think are going to start recommending these older graphics cards instead of a brand new equivalent in order to build a cheap PC. Now let's talk about the case. I could have thrown this in a much worse case and got the price actually under $400, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to give you guys a good case, and to do that we're going with the Cooler Master Master Box Lite 3.1. This is an awesome looking micro ATX case that has a side panel to be able to view your system once it's all said and done. It'll look awesome in any setup, so yeah, you can check it out down below. Just look at how beautiful the case is. They also come with an RGB version that's going to bump up the price of the case a little more. The non-RGB version is the one I'm recommending here. Now last but not least, we need a power supply, and we're going to be going with a solid brand name Seasonic power supply at 520 watts with 80+ watt certification. Great power supply. I can't recommend it enough. Seasonic's a pretty reputable brand, and they're great for this budget system. So there you guys have it. All of that comes out to, like I said, $432.48 after mail-in rebates, which is really freaking impressive, guys. So props off to these PC makers for being able to keep their hardware low despite the miners out there. And sure, we're having to buy a few-year-old graphics card, but it's worth it, guys, because you're going to be able to get moderate settings in most games. And then later on down the road, you can upgrade your graphics card when everybody moves on to, let's say, the 1100 series, and we finally see a drop in the 1060s, for example. So there you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome budget PC builds, as well as awesome other videos on building a PC, tech, gaming, all of that awesome stuff. You won't regret it, so be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Nevertheless, guys, I'm Nick. This has been The Breakdown. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'm out, guys. Peace.